Up. Man, I think I messed up. I was trying to. Hmm. Well, probably go look at my shirt is dirty because I have a 3-year-old, and that's what happens. You pick them up, they get all over you. I'm trying to go live on Instagram as well, so just so you guys know. Uh, hope you're well. Hope you can hear me. Ooh, what am I doing here? There we go. Do this. How are you, YouTube? Doing all right? I'm going live on Instagram too. My shirt's dirty because I have a 3-year-old. Uh, but hit me with questions if you have any. I'm also going to be live on my Instagram. Just trying to go live now. I'll do this one. Yeah, that's how it's going. I like going live because it just gets me remotivated. It's kind of weird. Um, Sometimes when I'm like uninspired, I go live and I just get inspiration. Oh, hey, see, there you go. Coaching groups are like courses. What do you mean coaching groups? I'm not sure what you mean. Um, what do you mean coaching groups? Oh, thanks for being a subscriber. I appreciate that. But do you mean like groups just that coach you on anything? Or what do you mean? See, there are tons of coaching groups. Yeah, yeah. So there's a lot of scams out there. Like they can be good. What's really hard is figuring out who's the right person, like who's actually there out to help you rather than getting money. I've been in a lot of coaching groups through Side Hustle Review. A lot of my followers have put me in there, and it doesn't like they're not the best. So, oh, wait a minute. Yeah, if it's like an accountability group, like around binge eating, binge drinking, like keeping people in, like those things are good, and those things can make money if that's what you're asking. Are you asking if do they make money? Are they profitable? Is that what you're asking? Because there's certainly great accountability groups out there. Some people have encouraged me to do them as well. Shoot, I hope you can hear me, Instagram. Uh, if that's what you mean, they definitely could be profitable. Some people use like school or they use Kajabi, things like this, to run those things. What that is a whole acquisition effort. You have to get people into your program. Let me know Instagram if you can hear me okay. I'm also streaming on YouTube if any of you guys are interested. Hey, what's going on, Shin? But yeah, I think I on the group side, are you talking about making money through it? Is that what you're talking about, Chris? Like you want to run a group, you want to start a group and see if you can make money? Great. Great. I'm glad you can hear me. I'm glad you can hear me. Because if that's what you're talking about, I have somebody on YouTube asking me what do I think about groups around coaching, like coaching groups. Seems like tons of coaching groups for specific goals like binge eating, binge drinking. If you're trying to think of that as a way to monetize, it definitely is a good path. It takes some work. It's going to take a lot of content. So you're going to have to produce a lot of content to get people into your and interested into your group. And then you have to really get into um, figuring out how to a way to acquire them and then coming up with a whole program, things like that. So that's really what you have to do. Uh, wow, I'm getting a lot on YouTube here. I don't know what's going on there. How you doing, Instagram? Did I miss any questions from you? Mm, no, personally, don't. But seem like a lot of people put videos out there to pull them offline and say they're still available if you join my group for exit. Yeah, that is like a thing we're seeing right now, right? Is people put a bunch of content out there. They gatekeep too early, if you ask me. Um, I think the great system is you provide all your information for free. And uh, if you want more organized, you want it more organized, you want it um, more streamlined. You want a little bit more intimate conversation with the coach or the group leader because they're going to add a lot of value. That's it. But when these coaches kind of really gatekeep a lot of information, it is a bit of a red flag. But it's a lot about how they've been coached to monetize. But if you're looking to do this yourself, the best path to scale, but it won't be the best path, the fastest path to revenue is if you provide all your information for free, you have a podcast, you have a newsletter, you have all this stuff, and then you offer the same, maybe not the same, but just more robust, a lot deeper information, a lot more interactive information through your group or through your program. That's the best way to kind of monetize it. Now, from your perspective, if you're just wondering if there's real value in those things, there are people that add great value. I've also seen, like, I've been in groups where the coach has completely kind of put a rouge on or a smoke and mirrors show. They even have like fake people in there saying they're successful off the program. So you can get into these groups or communities, these paid for groups and communities, and really feel kind of shortchanged. So you have to look out for it. But if you're asking for yourself doing a monetization, but if you're asking should you join one of those groups, you just have to do. It's a matter of trust with the person you're joining, the group you're joining. Hey, I've been thinking of buying items in bulk, such as plushies, decor items that can be gifted and selling them in a sort of bundle bag. And I was wondering if you think this could be successful. Anything could be successful. Your challenge in that kind of business will be acquiring the right customer. I know you'll always hear about people saying you need to find your niche, and that's somewhat true. But let's say it's these plushies or things, you're going to have to figure out who your target audience is and make sure you're making enough content or some type of have some kind of marketing path to get them to know that these things exist. I saw this thing where there was a claim that this lady's a multimillionaire, or no, just a millionaire, selling lighters, and all she does with the lighter is put like a special sticker on it and then package it a little bit nicer and make 3x more. You're kind of talking about this. She kind of same business model. Her success came to her marketing. She was really good at, putting out photography and content around her lighters to drive interest. And that's what you're going to have to do with your plushie business. It certainly could be, but I think you have to remember the business logic that a lot of entrepreneurs get wrong is they focus so much on the product or the service and don't really focus or try to really put a lot of thought in how they're going to acquire people. You can't you should always challenge yourself if you're going to have if you have the build it they were come mentality. If you do, that's how you know you have a red flag. You need to understand or have a real do a lot of hard work of how will I get them to come. Woo. That was how will I get them to notice that I exist? What can we learn in this live video? It's just a Q and A, so whatever you want to ask me, you're free to do so around making money online. What's the most reliable side hustle? I'm bedbound after a life-saving emergency surgery. My hospital bills and regular bills are stacking. Also, if anyone can donate to my GoFundMe in the bio, anything can help. Yeah, if you're really bedbound, there's still opportunity to find a way to make money uh, through an online business. I think you're going to be limited to like something around. If bedbound still means you can type and you can create maybe written content, I think something around a content business would be interesting for you. Maybe not so much YouTube leaning, but maybe a written form or uh, some other form. You could do if you're able to do videos and things, you could do video, but you need to figure out what your path is. Like, what are you reviewing, or what is your monetization? Not your monetization, your niche that you're going to dial into. I'm sorry to hear about your situation. I hope you do get better. I'll have you in my thoughts. You can try to sell that stuff on Whatnot. Yeah, Whatnot is a pretty good path. I think the Plushy packages could be a good path for Whatnot. You can also try TikTok Shop too. You would have to get your TikTok Shop account up. You would have to, make sure all of that stuff is working out for you. But it is definitely possible for your Plushy business to run it through TikTok Shop as a special bundle. That's a good idea. Looking at other questions here. Yeah, I can type. I'm on my laptop. Okay, cool. Yeah, no problem. Worried about having to leave the US for a couple years. Any side hustles that I could do abroad and still earn in dollars? I'm not built to be a content creator though. Print on demand could be interesting for you. Um, I wouldn't I wouldn't write that one off. Also, I see a lot of people making US dollars with faceless channels. You certainly could do that too. And a faceless channel doesn't automatically mean AI. You might be able to leverage some AI in there, but faceless channels existed before AI. If you ever saw those cooking channels or just kind of those documentary channels, so you certainly could do those types of things abroad as long as you have a US uh, social security number, and I think you do have to be in the U.S. like a certain amount of time in the months. Don't take me; I'm not a tax expert, but print on demand, you would have to find some either search or supply decay. Sorry, I'm opening my window. Ugh. Some supply decay and some underserved space for you to weave into, and then figure out what types of products you're offering through Etsy or even Amazon. Amazon has merch services. Election years are always a big pop, but it really depends on how much money you're trying to make too. But I wouldn't. I would steer you towards, if you're not a content creator, maybe a faceless channel, which you would be a content creator, has some limitations, or print on demand service. You can also try a service business, something like build sites for small businesses stuff, but you would have a hustle. You'd have to do a you would have to hustle, but it also could be a path for you. Building small apps or something for small to mid-sized businesses. I also want to start using a 3D printer more to make small items, as well as for card collecting and D&D. Those are interesting things. I wouldn't say it's oversaturated, but there is business there, so you need to just figure out what your differentiation is, and again, figure out how you're gonna acquire customers. So if you're trying to, um, do like a 3D printed business, maybe you're trying to offer that service through Etsy, I'm not sure, but if that's what you're trying to do, you're gonna need to learn, about SEO, doing great listings on Etsy, how to make sure you have your imagery, photography there, how will you get your business promoted, how will you make sure it gets ranked? Those are all the challenges you would be facing up front, but I think that's a great, could be a great path. You may need to get niched down, as they say, where D&D is broad, but is there a certain corner of D&D or 3D items that you're really wanting to get focused on, and then build from there. Hopefully that answers your question. I've seen a few AI related courses, books being sold. I'll teach you how to use AI and make money while you sleep type stuff. Yeah, so that's typically something called private label rights product. So you can go onto like look up PLR courses, and what you'll find is done for you courses, and people buy those for like $30, and they try and sling them for $120 or $997 or $497 and just keep the profit. So you'll get like a kind of a bootleg AI course that's been already done for you. That's kind of what's going on there. They've been coached to do that. They've been taught like this is how you can make money. You buy a course that's already done and sell it over and over. And typically, right now, you'll see the most common is around affiliate marketing, AI courses, how to use AI prompts. They'll sell you, 2,000 AI prompts that will make you a millionaire. Those are just things they bought and they're reselling to people. What's more useful tool you have right now to research side jobs? To research side jobs, right now I get so many submitted through my DMs that I go from there and then research. I also use Answer the Public, so a lot of times I look for what people are asking and try and lean into that. Um, yeah, and then Google Trends a bit too. Looking through the comments. Oh, yeah, no problem. I'm glad it was helpful. Uh, what do you think about a what do you think about a bounce house business? A bounce house business could be interesting. I don't know how competitive it is, for, for everyone, or for depending on where you live. It is something that it takes a little bit of manual labor. It takes you finding your customers. So you'll have to either promote through social media or figure out how to get ranked. Google Maps is definitely something where you have to be um, really, really efficient in order to be successful at that one. Or networking with party planners, things like that might be really good. I have seen some people be successful for more like photography based bounce house business. So you get a white bounce house for like uh, baby showers and stuff, and like pose a scene, a setting for people to uh, take photos or have a photo moment. So those things kind of work, but um, yeah. But do you have a page or organized sheet? So I do. If you go to the link in my bio, I have Side Hustles That Work tab. You can go there. Some of those are online. I also have you had success with Airtasker. Some of those are physical jobs. If you're looking for just online jobs like marketplaces or tasks, random tasks you can do, uh, there isn't like a not that I know of anyway of a random like just I need an online task done type of business. But yeah, you can go to the link in my bio under side hustles where that work, and there's some there. Any practical side jobs you'd recommend online? Maybe there's quite a few. It really depends on your personality type. I've been successful at user generated content. It's not a scam. I think some people overhype it, oversell it, but it is a practical side hustle. There is demand for it. It's increasing. More brands are wanting UGC creators. It's kind of a way they can cheaply make it look like they're working with influencers. So it is. it is definitely a path. You can also uh, do things like selling digital templates or products. But that one is an SEO game, so you would really need to understand SEO. Uh, it is practical. A faceless channel is also practical. Uh, it is it is something that takes some work. If you were to ask me, should you start a faceless channel from scratch or buy one on Flippa? I'd probably look at Flippa first because at least you have something on a foundation. But you really have to search there and make sure you're looking at the right things. Uh, Um, I listened to a podcast where a guy set up a method to cash in on the money incentives put out by banks to open new accounts. I think he was making some serious money. Uh, yes, tracking it is the tedious part. So what you're talking about is bank churning. I actually have posted a couple videos about it. In 18 months, you can probably make around 15 to 20K, and you do need some operating capital. You have to track closing and opening your accounts. After the 18 months, the accounts kind of keep, or the banks keep track of you, and then you kind of get blacklisted, not blacklisted, but kind of put on top pause or in a cooling period. Probably have to wait a whole other 18 months to start it again. Max around 20K doing that. There's a similar thing if you live in the US, which is sports betting. A lot of the sports betting just changed its regulations, or the US just changed its regulations around sports betting. So a lot of these books are trying to acquire people. So there's a lot of betting incentives, and there's people that coach you on how to leverage it to almost always win. You have like a 98% chance of winning. Because they just have all these incentives. And it's a similar thing. You can churn through them, but once you do, you're pretty much done. You can't continue to do it for the rest of your life. So it could be a short win, definitely a side hustle. And then after that, main thing for both of those is tracking, keeping on top of those things, that kind of stuff. Hey there, when I started following you, I thought you'd try to sell your followers stuff in the future, but you really didn't. Thanks for that. Hope you go on with the same integrity as now. Yeah, I think I wouldn't say I as I was explaining earlier, the people that are really successful for the long term in doing content creation or building a business don't monetize in that way in the way of it's gate kept. So I haven't really I mean, I do have some products where it's name your price. You can pay free. Would I ever have like a paid for Patreon or school community? I wouldn't write it off, but I wouldn't gatekeep behind it, if that makes sense. The most successful people at this give all the information out for free. There's nothing gate kept. And what really has happened in any time of paywall is more of access. If you're looking for like exclusive coaching or exclusive one-on-one things, um, then that's where something can come to fruition. But it's not anything different that you can get from like a live stream or listening to a podcast or anything like that. I think what right now is people monetizing too quickly. They get a amount of followers and just feel like they have to make money. And that's good short-term game, but it is actually holding you back from what could be truly possible. And that's where I am. My dream would be that I grow big enough in authority, of how to make money online and integrity that brands will have to work with me because I mean something. Like my stamp of approval matters, and so I can charge a premium for that. So there is a thought process to it. It is around integrity too. I don't think it's right to hold this information back, but it doesn't mean I don't see a path to do it. It's a longer haul. It's a little bit um, more of a challenging path. But to me, everyone, if I started to monetize like the way that it's typically done, it's a get rich quick thing for me, and it's not something that will like sustain for a super long time. So it's not like I'm saying I have all the answers. I have things in my mind. I also have a full-time job, so this is technically my side hustle on top of that. But yeah, I appreciate you noticing. And yeah, that's the plan, is to continue that way. Oh, I got a goat emoji. Thanks. Hey, my wife is a fantastic painter. Any tips for selling art or finding buyers? Any tips you have, or accounts you follow, or anyone to look into? Thanks so much for sharing your insight. Yeah, so selling paintings or art on social media is always a difficult, not difficult, but it is a bit of an art in itself to do it. So you really need to figure out who's interested in your wife's art. What type of art is it? Where where does she have the most appeal? And then you have to follow people like Brand Launch, I think is her name. I can't remember her full name, but look up Brand Launch. She's a blonde woman. I think she's like 23 or so. And she gives you a lot of great content formats you can rip off, but you need to do it in your for her specific art. That's how you're trying to get attention. Now there are other paths to do it. You can use Answer the Public, or some type of like SEO frog, to figure out what people are searching around art and how you can build content and get more just information out there about your wife and her heart. Right now, you're just in attraction mode. And I think some people get so focused on social media, but there are multiple paths to get it. You can find services that plug her on a bunch of podcasts, so you can have her go through a podcast circuit in the art scene, and figure that out. You do have to set a budget. I mean, I think what sometimes might be holding you back is that you want to just get your word out for free. I'd recommend you need to set some type of budget between you and your wife. Maybe it's, even if it's $1,000 for the year, what will you spend that $1,000 on? Is it an SEO tool? Is it this podcast circuit or something, to try and drum up interest and do marketing? But you do need to set a budget uh, for it, because then that makes it more real for you, and then it starts to push your mind into what you have to do, which is acquire customers. Your wife is so blessed to have art come to her naturally and have this passion. What you have to work on is acquiring customers. It's not going to cost her money to do the art. That's where her passion and everything lives. What is going to cost you money is acquiring the customer and filling the skill gap that you don't have. And that's okay, right? But you have to do that. The other person I'd recommend that you could check out is Viral Video Club. He's really good. People have had success through his courses. He is a talented guy when it comes to this stuff and helping businesses getting notoriety out there. I believe his course is pretty expensive though. But again, when I said set a budget, that is something that you should consider like buying it. But watch all the content. Like, if you before you buy, like, let's say the Brand Launch program or Viral Video Club's program, you need to watch their videos, their Instagrams, try and implement as much as possible what they give out for free. If that's hard, don't even buy the program. That'll be a waste of money. You've already determined that this isn't your wheelhouse, and you're going to have to figure out an alternative. Maybe it's not social media. Both of those guys I mentioned are social media more. Maybe it's through blogs or podcast circuit, like I mentioned. So, yeah, that's what you have to really do. But good luck to you and your wife. Hopefully, this was a helpful conversation. What do you think about starting a newsletter? Seems like everything is already there. So newsletter is great. It's definitely a way you can make money. I've made money through it. You have to figure out how to get subscribers. So again, you're back to distribution. How do you get people interested? How do you get people's emails? You probably have to offer some freebies. You probably have to offer some um, uh, different things to get subscribers. But once you get it, it's pretty easy to make money through it. There are some oversaturated newsletters, ones on like stock trades and other exclusive stuff like that. But I think there's plenty of opportunity. I think newsletters are just going to continue to grow. Hey, just happened to see a live. I'm in the early stage of starting my postcard ad side hustle. Your video on the topic a couple months back really stuck with me on how I'm taking action. Well, that's great, Cole. Yeah, the postcard side hustle is an interesting one. It is possible. I think some people overestimate the amount of money you can make with it, but it's a good learning experience and definitely could be something that adds a little bit of side income to you. If anybody doesn't know what this postcard side hustle is you basically have a blank postcard, like maybe the size of this, that's just blank, and you break it out into ad units and say, hey, I mail these every 2 weeks. Do you want to buy an ad on this? And you know, you're you're basically a local advertiser, distributor. And it can you that this is a sales thing. So in order for you to be successful, you got to be a good salesman, selling them the value of the postcard, selling them the ad. And that's really it. But it is definitely something people make money doing. And it takes a good salesman behind it to get it to happen. I have way too many ideas for products, but too little time. So focus on one. You got to just pick one product. One. Just try and push on there. Stop having so many ideas and just pick one. I know it's hard, but it's definitely something you have to do to get to the next step. And at some point, you'll come to a dead end and you'll have to pick another. But it's a good muscle to train yourself is to get focused on one thing rather than scattering. But I know the challenge, Patrick. So good luck with that. Um, hey, been following you for a while. I don't understand. You seem to be like really making great content. You seem to be making really good content, but kind of falling off. What is going on? You know, I would say I don't know what's going on, and I really don't care. It's I I don't know. I've gotten 400,000 followers, more than 400,000 followers on Instagram. I gain but I lose a little bit more than I gain. Some people say you got fake followers. I didn't. I didn't get fake followers. I think there's been a lot of changes to algorithms. A lot of people have been talking about it right now, of how much I think people are just fatigued with how much content's out there, and it's very duplicative. So many people have the same hooks, the same conversations on social media, so they're just less engagement overall. But yeah, I guess my ratio is much lower, but I'm also not making a false narrative. It's very clear to me that the behavior that goes really viral is if you say, "Here's how you make $10,000 in 30 days." Not someone goes, "Here's how much work it takes to make $10,000 in 30 days." And that's what I do. So I'm going to get less engagements. I'll get less things from it. So I'm working against the algorithm, and I just kind of acknowledge that and try not to let those numbers, the ratio thing, deter me, because one like means I broke through to one person and I help one person, and that is great. That's the win. So you can get really lost in what people say you should have. Like you should have this many followers, this many likes to this many followers. Isn't this embarrassing? Or isn't this for you? It's like, dude, I, I don't I don't know what your deal is. One person can look at my video. He's like,
wow, you have 400,000 followers and you only have 100 likes. Or I look at it as like, cool, I made a video and I got 100 likes, you know? So it's all just your lens and your frame of reference. I try not to, again, I just know I'm out here giving a little bit more thoughtful information, which right now is not what's most appreciated on these platforms. So, you know, got to acknowledge that. Um, What are your thoughts on vending machines? Vending machines can be a great business. The best thing you can do is go onto LoopNet and look at people selling vending machine businesses to really understand the full P&L, the full cost. A lot of coaches out here that will teach you how to run a vending machine business are putting the rose-colored glasses on it because they want you to buy their course on how to run a vending machine business. So of course they'll say it's easy. It's something you can do overnight. You can do in 30 days. You can retire your grandma on. They're gonna say that because they want you to buy into the program. They'll then eventually tell you all the hard work once you buy into the program. Then you'll be like, "Whoa, I didn't expect this." So I think self-teaching yourself, at least evaluating what it is, a vending machine comes down to locations. That's it. You have to get good locations. And that's the hardest part is even finding vending machine locations. You can take over vending machine locations. You can convince somebody to put a vending machine. This idea of you putting a vending machine in a place and not have to pay any type of commission to the owner is far and few between. You just need to factor that into your business. But yeah, I've learned so much. I've talked to 3 vending machine business owners that have run them for like 30 years. And yeah, they talk about the grind. They talk about how much work it took them to get it up into that size. And yeah, it's definitely something you could do. But it takes more more upfront hustle than a lot of these coaches lead on to because they don't want you to know how much work it takes until you've already bought the course. Does that make sense? Um, what else we got here? Is the local newsletters place still viable based on your research? It can be. So, an interesting application of the newsletter side hustle are these local food guys that are like, and I don't know why these videos even attract me. I'm not even a foodie, but you just see these guys in their car like so and so taquitos. Let's see if they're the top in uh LA area, right? And then they eat them and then they give them a score and that's it. Like the Keith Lee bootleg Keith Lee's, they the smart ones have newsletters of the top restaurants they do where it has some monetization, top things they tried, things that opened. So local in that sense, top go, um, you know, in your local area or different places also. There are little slivers of newsletters that do work. The other are like exclusive real estate listings or stock information, crypto. They like do so much with newsletters. So there is cool applications of it. My newsletter, I'm not consistent on publishing it, but I do make money through it. I make money just through good vibes. Mainly, I tell followers to name their price, and I'm so blessed to have around I think 60 paid subscribers of a newsletter that you get nothing for paying. It's basically a tip. Uh, I make 90 bucks a month. I'm definitely negative on this whole side hustle thing. I don't even ask for tips. I do have name your price. I think I need to get better at that. My dream is if I could get more contributions, small contributions from a lot of people. One of the people on YouTube watching is a contributor, and I really appreciate that. It keeps me going. It keeps me engaged and want to do it. But my dream is to grow big enough through contributions to then be able to like buy a business on Flippa, show you behind the scenes of running it, maybe buy some of these courses that are like completely crazy and give you a behind the scenes look of if they're real or if they're not. I wish I can had like unlimited money to start just giving, spewing the truth at like an even bigger scale. but I haven't figured out the path there. I'm working on it. I've got a few things I'm doing. One of them is review.courses, which I think has real legs if I can figure it out. But and if you don't know what that is, it's a website where people, it's like a Yelp of courses. So if you bought a course, you go there, you leave a review. And the way I would monetize it is the coach would have to pay to take over their page. So they'd have to pay me monthly, and then they'd be able to manage their reputation a little bit better. They couldn't change the reviews, but they can respond to the reviews. They can have add their imagery, maybe a little bit of course overview, and not have to rely on the public submitting it. If I ever got that to take off, that would be a real unlock to get more good information out there and kind of reshape the way this industry is going. Because right now, misinformation takes over this whole space. And it's super unfortunate. I think it leads people to be deterred from trying to try something new. And I think there's plenty of opportunity to make money online, but it's really hard to make sense of what is real and what's not and where to get started. So that's what I'm trying to bring to. I think I could do a better job. But, I'd rather do some work than no work on it right now. I'm super passionate about it. So, um, yeah, I don't know where I got onto that other than that, but it was a good detour. But as I go, I always run out of money. It's just the fact that I run on quiet, saturated market, but we also need to produce everything, which means yes, we have to product. Okay, so you run out of money when you're trying to run your art business. I think you have to get more. It comes down to getting more focused on your target audience. I think you're right. You said it right there. You're too broad. Uh, Broad will kill your business. You have to get even more focused. Maybe take one art piece specifically and go very, very narrow on who it might be attracted to, and then spend your money on trying to track that direct person. How do I give you an example? People that sell on Etsy print on demand. Some of the people are successful just focus on cherries, just cherries, cherries, cherries. Who people looking for cherry blouses, t-shirts, cherry hats, cherry this, cherry this, cherry this, and make a bunch of different versions of cherries. Cherries is so niche. It's so small, right? But doing that gets you focused, and then you can start to learn what you're looking for, how to build. Once you get some cherry buyers, you move on to lemons, and you move on to this, and move on to that, and then you start building. So I think you're right. You're maybe a little bit too broad. Really challenge, find one piece of art that your wife has done or she's really passionate about, and try and sell that into something that you can do a little bit more focused energy on and make that money work for you. Social is just a rolling scroll of Ponzi schemes these days. Yeah, I know. And maybe I'm blending in too much as a Ponzi. I'm an anti Ponzi, but maybe I'm blending in too much and I have to figure out how to break through as an anti Ponzi. I'm working on it. I'm doing some different video edits. They do okay, but they're not like the most, you know, perfect, but I'm getting there. I'm getting there. Uh, hold on. Hold on. I'm going to look for more. All right. Looking at more, and just so you guys know, I'm also streaming on YouTube. So if I'm like referring to comments you didn't see in the chat, so yeah. Um. Oh gosh, and Instagram's chat is so like silly. It's really hard to manage. There we go. Oh my gosh, stupid Instagram. I keep on scrolling and then it jumps me to the bottom. Run out of money. Okay, got that one. Ponzi schemes. Love your content and thoroughly researched. Thanks. Oh, thank you. Aligning is the problem because we can't sell enough of one product. Yeah, because they're probably custom one of one, right? That's probably your. How the heck do you have 400 plus followers and only 20 are watching? Do you have fake followers? See, that's what people ask. I don't know. I don't have fake followers, or I didn't try to get fake followers. Uh, no idea. No idea. It's just how the world works. I've can't tell you. Can't tell you how that works. Well, I could kind of tell you in this, like I'm it really where my hypothesis is you probably pointing a point of reference of somebody like that is a gaming streamer or content creator or more lifestyle creator. Those people have built their whole community off some type of fandom, kind of parasocial vibes, and so that's gonna like gravitate a higher view count than to someone that's informational. Where I'm more informational, people aren't really like trying to learn about me and my lifestyle and just kind of live vicariously through me. They just followed me at one point to learn, and not really like be part of my life, if that makes sense. So I think your point of reference is a bit of that. On top of that, I'm also not selling a dream, which I also see a lot of people that get a lot of followers, get a high engagement, but they're kind of gaslighting people in terms of how easy or how simple it might be to make money or become a millionaire. And that gets also a lot of engagement. So I think I have those two things that work against me. Again, I try not to let those things deter me. It's just the way life is, but that's what that whole point was about. It is a Friday night. Yeah. We appreciate how authentic you are. Thanks for not being like the fake bait and switch side hustles. Problem, like I said, I think the algorithm more encourages that. It just gets more distribution. So it is. Love your openness and the way you share the truth. This is a differentiator you can bring into the side hustle space. It's very valuable. Authenticity is rare nowadays in social media. Thank you. That's a great idea. Forcing accountability on these people running online courses. Yep, that's what I'm working on. Uh, hello, can share. Howdy, hello. Can you share any insights on drop shipping? I live in Singapore now and have noticed that profitable in a short period of time. Some acquaintances have become since starting 5 years ago. Yeah, drop shipping can be is definitely something that is a viable path to income. It's real. There are some people that have figured out short term, kind of like it's a drop shipping arbitrage approach where you find products that are trending on like TikTok Shop or things like this and rip off that content and spool up really quick. But those are a race to the bottom. Those won't last very long, at least that business. So you'll try it, maybe it'll pop, and then you're going to have to abandon it and move on to the next one and rinse and repeat. Some of the guys that are successful at the arbitrage method of drop shipping do about 40 to 50 different products a year, and only 4 or 5 actually take off and pay them. So it's a lot of trial and error. It does take a lot of process work. It is something that you can, over time, as you get really good at it, um, can be something that uh, um, you can get pretty rhythmic with and operationalize, so it becomes pretty fast. But it does have a bit of a learning curve. It's not something that I think you can like do your whole uh you can do your whole business around or have a whole career around, but it's definitely something you can learn a lot about e-commerce with, is drop shipping. Good morning. What's over here? I'm gonna just look on YouTube real quick. I just heard on an interview with a guy that stated billboard side of business. He buys them and rents the billboard. He said some billboards have wait lists. It sounded crazy lucrative. So I work in the advertising space. This doesn't sound logical to me unless it's another business, but most billboard businesses are pretty much covered by some of the biggest advertising salespeople in the world. So I'm not sure if he's trying to sublet billboards. So he goes onto the wait list and then sells others to it. Might be possible, but sounds weird to me. I'd be suspicious of that. I didn't really want to go on this live, but I had FOMO. Okay. Cool, man. FOMO to come to a live with 4 followers. So if regulators are gaslighting us into believing side hustles are a piece of bread, and if they actually take more effort than what they try to sell, continues on next. No problem. Do you think we should try to pursue a side hustle or just go in with a proper entrepreneurship business opinion on it, our idea? Look, I think it depends. So if you're looking for a side hustle that just works, one, I think it's more of a business approach. You should look at anything other than the side hustles that are like the bank churning or I view it or these smaller things, doing like an Uber. Those are true side hustles, right? It's just something you do on the side. But if you're trying to look for something that runs adjacent to your 9 to 5, and kind of can like be an off ramp or just offer sustainable income with low effort, you want to look at it as a business. You want to treat it as an entrepreneurial experience and find ways to, um, get it working for you. Uh, if you're not doing that, then you're going to be challenged and you're going to burn out. Uh, you need to be able to cut bait too. Just say, you know what? Never mind. This is a bad idea. It's not going to work. So my advice is, unless you're thinking like, I just need a couple extra $100 to, pay my car note every month, then yeah, that's a traditional side hustle. But if you're trying to add maybe 30-40% more to your household income, I would definitely look at it as a business. Even things like content creation or print on demand or things like that. You could certainly do it so small that it's just a side business, maybe making $1,000, $2,000 a month, and that's where you want to keep it. Sure, you can do that. Um, but you want to scale it bigger, then you really need to look at it as a business. Hopefully that answers your question, David. Hi, is selling credit card machines legit and practical? I have seen this one multiple times. I have a YouTube video that gets so much. I did a video on this. Okay. This is selling the credit card machines. And on YouTube, I think it comes up in search results all the time. And it has a lot of views, but it has so many people saying I'm wrong in it. In that video, I talk about an MLM that is selling this idea of selling credit card machines. And the idea is you go to businesses, sell them a credit card machine, a payment processor machine. And if they do it, you make money every month from every transaction that is had on that card, right? Um, there is an MLM out there. I'm not going to take it back on my video that does this. Now, the people that argue in my thing that I'm wrong, say they make all this money doing it or whatever, and I cannot decipher if they're part of the MLM or not. I do, after some deeper research, believe there is a real business without an MLM where you can be a card payment slinger for it. And it is just hustle, going business to business, seeing if they're happy, seeing if you have a competitive rate with them than what they have to date. And you're a salesperson. That's basically what you are. You're a commissioned salesperson. It's possible for you to sell them and make money, but it's not anything more than that. You're becoming a commissioned salesperson on credit card machines, and you'll make money for every transaction that's done. There's a couple businesses that do it, offer this, and that's it. Even worse, you're a commissioned salesperson without any base pay. You're going to sales trying to sell, and you're not making any hourly rate. That's a big challenge. I've heard owning a laundromat is pretty good passive business. Is that a myth? Um, yeah. Uh, it's interesting. So I look at people that I know that have worked in that. Um, and it can be lucrative. It comes down to location. Uh, there is a lot of maintenance to it, machines. There's a lot of energy costs. There's a lot of regulations to it. What's great about it is it is low staff. You don't have to have that many people on staff doing it. It's a bit of a cash business, although it's changing into tap to pay. Um, and it does um, it does do well in recessions. On the flip side, the equipment's expensive. It's expensive to build out. You can certainly go into debt up front and never get out of it, um, especially if you get the wrong location or you put in the wrong community. So buying a already existing laundromat is probably a better way to go. And you really have to do strong evaluation, wonder why it's on the market. But laundromats, car washes, they all have this kind of label as a great lucrative business. They're okay. They're an okay business to run for sure. Oh, looking through. Thanks so much. Here we go. Do you recommend starting off with a monetary goal? I need to make $2,500 a month. Yeah, is great. It keeps you focused, it keeps you balanced. That's definitely something that you would that you need to keep you going. I'd also recommend starting with a budget. You need some type of budget. So $500 a month to make $2,500 a month, you would actually need to make $3,000 a month to offset the 2,500, right? But I'd also encourage you to look at it differently. So how do I explain this? If you're in the US, Chris, what you're trying to do is start a business. So do an LLC or an S corp, get that going. And whatever business you're starting, you need to start to track your business expenses. Things that would be your business expenses is like the internet if you're doing online stuff. How much do you pay that a month from your house? Can that go into your business? Your car, will you start be using your car for this business to drop things off or whatever? Does that have a payment? Um, that's a payment that can go into your business. And what you can do is you might be trying to make $2,500 a month, but if you make $2,500 a month, you have to remember there's tax on top of that, right? Which let's just say 40%. So you're at like $1,700 a month cash. So to make 2,500, you have to make 5,000. Not necessarily if you run it like a business, and some of your home expenses now get attributed to the business because remember, on a business, you only pay tax on your net profit. Your net profit. So if it cost you $3,000 to run a business because you have your internet, you have your car payments, you have some other expenses, maybe your home office, etc., supplies, actual things to run the business. That comes out to 3,000, and you made 2,500. You're negative 500. You owe no taxes. But you also got your car payments covered. You got your part of your home office covered. You got part of your electricity bill covered. Well, I don't know if you can do your electricity, but your internet bill, etc. So you have to kind of look at it that way. Ask ChatGPT a bit of it. I'm not a finance expert. This is entertainment only. But you need to kind of change your mind and look at this more as an entrepreneur when you're first starting out, so you have a healthy start, and you don't get slapped with like a you know crazy tax bill in the end because you didn't track your expenses and things like that. But I think having a monetary goal is definitely the right thing. What's your website address? If you're talking about the review courses website, it's review.courses. So review.courses. Courses can be instead of .com, it's .courses. And yeah, that's the website. It's vibe coded. Cool. Well, I've been live streaming for about an hour. I'm gonna drop now. Chris, thanks for being here the whole time. That's awesome, man. I appreciate you. Thank you also for to everybody that joined on Instagram. I know it's a Friday night, so it's always a low key series, but I appreciate the encouragement and the people that were appreciative of me. I'll see you guys maybe next week. All right, bye.